what is it today? The like 9th or something? We're kind of halfway through October. So I didn't expect more, but the dahlias from Costco, which I never pulled up. They were there all last year in the ground. Okay, look at these. What? I mean, they're as big as me. I can't even believe it. All right, so these guys were so big. When I got home, they were already bent, like their stems. They're so heavy. I didn't put stakes in them, which of course I will next year on my dahlia farm, which will be like 8 foot by 8 foot. I didn't stake them, and I wish I did, but look how gorgeous they are. Now, the other thing that's in this vase, which is a little wonky, I just threw that in, is when I was gone in Buffalo, there was a party, which I couldn't go to, of course, I was in Buffalo, for a friend of ours who's moving, and one of the moms brought me these flowers, and they're still beautiful and big. Those are the lilies, and in her flowers was this beautiful hydrangea. So I just put the hydrangea, I mean, look how, so this is a big hydrangea. Can you get over the size of these dahlias? So if you guys are near Costco, so Costco, I think I've said this before, they're like a big warehouse, definitely on the West Coast, and I just don't know about the East Coast, but like by my mom's, it's called BJ's, and anyway, I just want to show you, they're so amazing. I would highly recommend that you get the dahlia bulbs, because who knew? And that whole bag was 12 bucks, and they've lasted, like, this is the second year. So, all right, now we're gonna get down to business. The sun is out, the fog is gone. After 4 months of fog, it is like, I swear, you guys, I just like get so happy when I wake up in the morning and I see blue sky. I write about it in my journal. Like, this makes me so, thank you, thank you, thank you. So happy. That was a very foggy summer we had. So anyway, all right. I took my journal, and I can't wait to show it to you guys. I took my journal and my travel art supplies, and I'm gonna flip through the journal with you, and then I'm gonna do a demo with some new art supplies I got at Hyatt's, because of course, you know, I had to buy a couple little things. And for those who are new to our group, I did a live last week with Donna Propus, who I know is not on, but she's gonna watch the replay. So hello, Donna. Donna is amazing, and she showed us all her beautiful dolls. And for any of the live videos that you may not be able to find, sometimes in the group, there's so many posts that it may get lost. You just go to the media section of our group. So there's if you're on a desktop, it may say even photos or videos, or it may say media, and that's a tab. And inside that tab, you should be able to click videos, and then you'll see all the lives. All of them. You could spend hours rewatching them or watching them for the first time. And I also try to post them on my YouTube channel. So Donna's video is up on my YouTube channel, if that is easier. That's just Andrea Garvey Art, I think. I think it's Andrea Garvey Art. Can't remember. Pretty sure that's what that is. And so she was awesome. And I love interviewing and asking questions. Is something I'm always been curious. I'm such a curious person. Like, I just love finding things out. So I was even thinking one day, not in anytime soon because I'm too busy, but I would love to do like a podcast or somehow do like a Q&A or interview other artists or do something, because I'm just fascinated by people's way that they get all their create and get their creativity and how they think about things. And so anyway, it was such a great interview, and I'm so happy I was able to do that. So check that out if you have not seen it. It's a good hour. It's fun. And I'm going to flip us around so we can see what I'm doing. All right. And I think my mom and Sandra, they are coming back from an art convention. And let's see, who else? I know there's a bunch of people on the replay today. So, it's gorgeous October. All right, I'm going to turn us around. All right, hold on. You can see my clean studio for a second. See how beautiful it is outside? All right. Okay. So let's get Yeah, so I'm gonna flip it. So this piece right here too, do you guys remember like 2 lives ago, I did a demo and we were just working with like inks in the Echo line or Eco line. I still can't remember how you pronounce that one. But what I did was, in fact, let me move this so you can see it a little bit more. I love putting just this is just watercolor paper. It's like a piece that's torn off from somebody, you know, from me, but it's torn off from a project I was working on. And I love having it also as a way to just, let me move it up so you can see it because it's kind of fun. I love having it, like I started in the middle and I ended up not liking my dahlia. I don't know what I did to it. I just added to it. But I love like slowly adding on to a piece. This is not how I do a lot of my art, but it is how I sometimes practice without knowing what I want to do. So I did not come up with a plan for this. This is just loose abstract watercolors. It's similar to what I'm teaching in my new course, but it's just kind of having fun. And I start in the center and then I work my way out to the sides. And I use this now as a backdrop, which is kind of fun. So you can always have a piece of watercolor paper underneath your art because maybe I'm waiting for something to dry and I'm just gonna start, you know, doodling a little bit on here or writing notes or whatever it is. And then this could actually end up being a piece of art that you could take a cropper and crop into and just, you know, have fun with it. So I was just experimenting with using the bottle stopper, using watercolor pencils, dripping. I was actually taking the Echo line and I had so much, not with the dropper, but I had squirted so much on, I just tilted it up. Then you can get some really cool drops happening. So I treat the watercolor inks very similar to my acrylic inks. So I'm just gonna move this up just in case you guys have any questions I wanna see. Okay, and this is what I took on my trip. Look though, I got it all messy. You know, I try to keep it nice and neat and then that was the end of that. I took some water brushes and they got all over the place, but that's whatever. I mean, it's supposed to be messy. So this is a satchel that my mom bought me for my birthday and I love it and it's great to travel with. This she got this for me from Peg Awl. If you guys have ever heard of Peg Awl, they're awesome. Uh-oh, are we stopped? No, we're good. And it's just like an oil canvas and you flip it around. You can put stuff in the pockets. So I had all my watercolors in here and then I had my colored pencils and then in these pockets in here, I had some of my pink pens and I actually got these Ecoline brush pens that I can show you guys. So it was great. So I took this with me and you know, if I'm on a plane, which I was for a long time, I'll just pull that out and start drawing. But I wanted to show you my journal because I worked on it a lot and then I'm gonna do a demo with some new stuff. All right, let me just get myself organized. Okay, I'm gonna zoom us down though so you can really see. So this was a journal that I created at Jean Oliver's Poets and Misfits, which you guys, she is right now filming this workshop I went to as a course. I don't know when it will be live and when it will be available, but knowing Jean is probably gonna be available. Actually, it may not be available. I'll let you guys know as soon as I know, but the course was awesome and we created this journal and this is just a cover I worked on when I was there. But this is about 4x6 and it's small enough that I could actually put it in a Ziploc bag. And I put it in a Ziploc bag and I grabbed a couple pencils and a paintbrush, and that's all I had for me when I was on the plane. And then I also have all my art supplies when I was at my mom's house and then when I was at my dad's house. So I'm just gonna flip through this so you guys can see it because it's really fun. This was a book that was a pre-made book, also at Peg Awl. And Peg Awl is, not only does it sell like these types of products, like these satchels and leather, you know, journals, but they also sell these little bookbinding kits. So the whole kit is a little thing you can buy, and it's really not that much money. And what I do to, the paper is a little bit more of drawing paper. So what I do to thicken up the paper is I just put paint on the paper, acrylic paint or gesso, and it will thicken the paper. So you can then start to add wet supplies to it. So what I love to do is backgrounds, so that when I have a few minutes or when I'm waiting for something, I literally just take out their, you know, pen. I just take out my pen and I just sort of do my thing. And so one thing that I've been really working doing and drawing and doodling are these circles. And I don't know what it is. It reminds me of, you know, what is that guy's name who does all the mobiles? But Calder, I believe. Just these simple shapes with the line connecting. And I really just liked how simple this was. It was acrylic inks and gesso on the background. And then I would just let the background dry. And then later I go over with this Pitt Artist Pen, and the Pitt Artist Pen is one of my favorites. It's something that I use a lot because it's waterproof. Micron pens are the same, you know, Micron or Pitt. Those are my two favorites. So I worked on this. I might just leave it and not do anything with it. These are just using bits of palette paper that I have glued on, and one day I'll add more to these pages, but I like this painting behind me on this palette paper. I always like to layer and add on. I'm not gonna be a person who's probably gonna sit and do one page and finish it. I mean, I may on some of them that I'll show you when we get into the book, but for the most part, I'm either adding a background and then I come in and I add a little collage, and then I go to the next page and add a little bit more. So let's see, this was just that same, when I had this color paint, I ended up putting it on here too. Very neutral, it's not very bright, it's very earthy. And these are all just gessoed pages. This is an older one. This actually has a piece of plastic behind it. I don't know what's happening here, but it's kind of funky. It's bright and colorful. Could be an inspiration for a color combination I want to do in a new painting, you know, having these beautiful sky blues with the purple. All right, this was a fun one. All this is watercolor, and using watercolor inks and then a lot of water and just messing around and kind of like watching it all do its thing and open up and make these pretty blooms and shapes, and that's it. And I left it, and I kind of like it. Yeah, sometimes I don't know, like if I look at this page and I can't think of what I would want to do, then I think what I would do is just leave it. Okay, this was some stenciling I was working on. It's not done. This is like this other page. And what I love to do is take the inks. This actually is probably, I can't remember, you guys, if this is watercolor or inks or acrylics. I think it's watercolor because it's very translucent. But what I like to do too is you work with the bottle stoppers, and I draw with them like this. And then I let it dry a little bit. And then I sprayed it with water. So what's really cool is you get to see like all these really cool, I mean, it's, it reminds me a little bit like tie-dye, not tie-dye, shoot, my sisters used to do this in the 80s, 70s. Oh gosh, what was it called? You guys get back to me, let me know. It's something. It's something like tie-dye. I can't remember. I'm still on the East Coast time zone. That's my excuse. But anyway, I think that the lines are so cool. It looks like little fossils even. So here's where I'm just still working with these round organic shapes, you know, going back into a page, maybe just adding. So this was a page that didn't have the pink. And then when I was at my mom's house, I just grabbed some pink paint that she was working on. And then I just filled in some pink, you know, and then either I take a heat dryer to it or I just leave it open on the kitchen table and then it will dry. And then, you know, maybe I'll go back and add some more to it. This was just an older little one I did with one of these pens. That could be an inspiration for, you know, a new painting or a sketch or something like that. And this is using the Ecoline Fuchsia. I was just doing again, like there's something very soothing for me to do this. Who knows what it will turn into. I love this blue one. And so the outside of the shape was done first. And then once that was dry, I went in with my paintbrush and added water. And you can see all of the really cool textures. This is all watercolor. This was a stain that was done when I took Jean's class. It's like either hibiscus or tea or avocado. I think it might have been the hibiscus stain. So this is a background color for when I want to work on that page. Then I was just, my mom had this like orangey pinky color out, and so on a few spreads I just put that down and added some white and cream, and I let this dry. So this will become something, but it's great to just, oh yeah, you guys are answering me. Batik, of course it is. Yes, that, remember how popular batik was back in the day? Let's see if I mean, look, where is it? That is so batik, isn't it? Yep. Okay, thank you. I know you guys would know that. All right, where was I? Where was I? Okay, so here's one where I don't know what I was thinking or doing. All of a sudden, I feel like this is like, you know, holiday ornaments. But I had a background. It was just some hot pink that my mom had again and some white. And sometimes when I'm doing my backgrounds, I really just like the brush strokes of either a big fat brush or even a sponge brush. And so I believe this was one of her, my mom's got some really nice brushes. So she had some big fat, really nice ones. And I just would just do the lines and mush it all around, but I love the texture. And then I took this white Signo ball. Where is it? This Signo Uniball, these are awesome, and just along the top, and I don't know, it's a little cartoony, but who knows? It was just fun. It's meditative, right? That's all it's really about. Then this one, I don't know what happened. This is so not my color palette, but again, when you're working in your journals, they can be anything you want, and maybe it's an opportunity to try something you would not normally try. I had this pink, I had this orange, I had this gold paint and this green, which is so yucky to me together. And then I wanted to add some black lines to it. So I added some black to it, and I don't know what's happening, but you know, whatever, it's all good. Again, just think about ways to create when you may not only have a limited amount of colors. You only may have gold and green and black. So this one I love. This is the one I put on the cover today for our post. But this one, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you guys can see all the detail. So this was done with some watercolors that I'm going to demo in a little bit once we're done looking at the book. And I really didn't have a composition. I'm just still using my circles, and I'm using these like tulip cups. I'm calling these cups lately, and going in with not only the white pen, but also the little black one. And you can get these black in really super fine. This is a super fine, but you can get it extra super fine to get these little tiny dots. And then just kind of adding some other colors, a little bit of green, and even some color pencil work in here. And this is one that I would just sit and my mom and I would have tea and we would just, you know, chat about what we were doing or the day. And every morning, I think I worked on this for, you know, not this one particular one, but in the book for like an hour, just, you know, chatting away and listening to her. But I was also doodling and drawing. You can do both at the same time. I don't think anybody's going to be offended. It's not like I'm on my phone looking and scrolling. When I'm doing this type of art, I really am doing it without thinking about it. I'm talking to my mom, I'm having a conversation, and my hand is sort of doing this stuff. It's really kind of going beyond concentrating. I'm not usually concentrating. I'm just kind of seeing what happens, and that's what I would encourage you guys to do. All right, this is a little doodle, just some pen work. Maybe there's no time to get the paints out. So, you know, I just really am loving these kind of shapes and rocks formations or whatever they look like and just building on it. So that was, you know, maybe a 10-minute little sketch, not even. And then on another day, I did one where I used a color pencil, color watercolor pencil, a watercolor pencil, and then use some of the brushes, the water brushes, and just sort of opened up the color, but it's very faint and it's really quite pretty. So, you know, I'm going to leave these the way they are. Just kind of simple, and then maybe simple and one other step to it. Then what I like to do too is when you're doing the dyeing of your paper, or if you had a lot of ink and you wanted to do that splot exercise, we've done that before together, like you do, you know, put some ink here, close your book, open it, let it dry, and then with the shape, you know, create something. So I just decided to make some leaves. This actually looks like a pelvic bone, but you know, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. Maybe I'll cut out some flowers and cover over this area and have it be like a tree trunk. So we'll see. Not finished. So one of the colors my mom had with this was this gorgeous indigo color. She was doing this project, and this was the background for a project she was working on, and I just thought it was so beautiful. I do want to use a dark background and then this pen over it. I don't know what I want to do. I think I just want to cover it all like a henna, like you would with a henna design on your hand. So maybe I'll research a couple little designs and put them on there and just do it with the white. I think that would be really pretty. This is just another background ready for me to work on. Then what I really thought was fun was taking again the ink, the hibiscus dye, okay, and then taking this white, and it reminds me of just some fabric. I just thought they were so pretty. Just, I don't know, just simple. I don't really want to add anything else to it. I just think they're, you know, quite pretty with just this beautiful color. And then the white. Isn't that fun? And it does remind me of some sort of like a patchwork, you know, really pretty. And who knows, this could be an inspiration for me to actually do this sort of line work and dots on another piece or something. Okay, then this one is all white and with some flowers. I thought they were really fun, and I'm not too sure what I'm gonna do on that side. Again, just doing my circles and rock shapes. Just having fun layering. Like I think I was on the plane yesterday and I just whipped this out and this out, and then it got a little rocky, little turbulence. So this one is using, again, that white on the hibiscus, and then very, very subtle background color. Really, really subtle. I think I had some things down here and I didn't love it, and it was so bright. That's another thing you can do. Like if you have a really bright page and it's just too much going on, like I was doing all these circles and shapes and it was too much, then I took some cream and some white and I brushed over it. Then this one I actually did kind of finish. This was a big deal because my dad and I went to Lake Chautauqua, which is a beautiful lake about an hour from his house. So it's, Lake Chautauqua has got some big history. There's the Lake Chautauqua Institute. There's, it's in a really incredible place. You guys should Google it. There's some beautiful homes there, and they have amazing concerts and speakers, and they also have this gorgeous lake. And so my dad is always been artistic and creative, but he doesn't do anything with it. So I bought him some supplies at an art store, and I forced him because I gave them to him as an early birthday present. And I said, Dad, I want to do this. I want to go to the lake and I want to paint with you. And so it took him a minute or two to kind of get into the painting, because when we sat down on the bench, all he wanted to do was chit chat away. And I'm like, Dad, no, it's totally got to be quiet and silent and listen to the waves. And all of a sudden we spent 2 hours working on paintings. Like he was in his journal and I was in mine, and I brought some travel watercolors with us, and it was just beautiful. There was, I brought the pinks in because I wanted to. There was not as many pinky trees, but I just thought it was so simple to do and so meditative. And there was this one guy who was kayaking out there in the lake. It was about 75 degrees and sunny. There was a cool breeze. And, I'll never forget how I felt creating this, even more so than if there was a photo of it. It's just, you're in the moment. I spent a few hours working on it, and it's something that I will always remember. So that's another thing too, with your little journals, you can create a scene that's right in front of your eyes and do something like that. So this is, I can't even tell you, but another one of my, I don't know what this is. This is like a science experiment. And so I've got some oranges and reds here. And I actually I'm not, you guys know this about me, I'm not a big into the yellow and the oranges, but I love the color combination here. I think that's beautiful. And so this is something that I'm going to remember and go, okay, you know what? I'm going to try this color combination because I think it's really cool. Then I was doing this on the plane, a sort of doodle rose Mandela kind of thing. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, there is something really funny here. Okay, so I was sitting next to this really sweet couple. They were in their 80s. They were so adorable, you guys. They were like holding hands with each other, and I just loved being with them. And we were next to each other for 3.5 hours on one of the flights. And I was kind of messing around with my journal. And the guy says to me, okay, this was nothing before he talked to me. I said to him, I go, what does that shape look like to you? And he said, it looks like a rabbit. And so I made it into a rabbit. And so sometimes when you have those blot shapes, you can make them into little rabbits and little fun things. Isn't that cute? Anyway, I thought it was adorable. And let's see, I think that's it, but I'm going to do a demo in here. And I think that's all I have for some of these pages got stuck together. So when you do the dyeing, and if you do anything with your pages, just be careful. What I'll end up doing is I'll collage on these pages. So see, I'll collage on these. So it's fine, but okay. They were dyed more in the back. All right, so here is some of the art supplies I got. So I'm just gonna open my page. So you know how I use Peerless a lot, the Peerless watercolors? I found this one there, Viviva. I think Renee Mueller, who's my friend, did a live with this same company. I'm going to have to ask her, but this was at Hyatt's, and it's this little book, and I'm going to do it sideways so you can see. They are metallic watercolors. Can you see the shimmer? And what I love about this type of, there it is. What I love about these types of watercolors, the same with Peerless, is, look at that gold, is that they're great for traveling. That was like the main thing. They're just amazing to travel. And I think what I would do too is I will add some of my Peerless to these, and that way I have more. I wish, you know, there was more, but it's a cute little thing. And I bought this, and I bought some of these water brushes. Now, water brushes, you can buy really fancy ones. Like there were some water brushes that were like 10 bucks a piece, but these were 3 for $6. So I'm thinking, well, that's all I need. The caps weren't very secure, which led to some of the watercolors bleeding on my satchel over there, but that's okay too. I mean, the satchel is going to get art supplies on it, so that's fine. So I took these and this and a couple of these pencils when I was down at the lake. And I also always travel with these two colors, my black and white. So I thought we would do a little demo so you can see. And I was just doing, maybe I'll do my little rock shapes. I just would, you know, put in my shapes with the color pencil. And as the journal gets bigger, and when you work in your journal, bigger, that's not even make sense. When the journal gets full and you work on it a lot, sometimes your pages too can get a little bit lumpy because you have stuff underneath or pages got stuck together or you're working on this side. Just that keeps you in check of knowing this is practice. That's all it is. Practice, practice. Nothing more. I'm not going to ever rip these pages out and frame them. So I'm just, this is really doodling. That's all I'm doing. I'm going to add a little bit of this pink. So these are watercolor pencils. And then what I like to do is, and the reason why I have a few of these, you guys, too, is if you're traveling, it's good to have like a set of, you know, 2 or 3 or 4, because once you get color on the brush, the paint will start to turn a little bit of the color. You'll see what I'm talking about. And then maybe I'll just always keep my oranges orange and my blues. But I'm not that kind of painter anyway, so I do mix it up a little bit. And then you just open this up and you clean it. That's all you need to do. So the thing with the water brushes is there's a little push, but there's a little button. It's not a button, but it's a little thing where you can push the water out. Whoopsie. That was a lot of water. Obviously, it's not on correctly, but it shouldn't do that. There goes my demo. But what I'm doing is I'm only using water right now and not, there's not really a lot of color on this tip yet. There will be soon. Okay, so there's plenty of water that just plopped right out. But the water brushes are great to really get a kind of a soft feel. And you just, you know, you can get the same effect though. You don't need to go get water brushes if you have a regular brush. I just think they're fun if you're traveling. That's really the main thing I wanted to show you guys. You can do this by dipping your brush into water. Okay, so I'm gonna just sort of letting that do its thing. And then let's pick some colors out from here. When you first buy the brushes too, they might be hard Like this one's hard because when they're new, you just can dip this in water. And then, I got some water over here, just to get the bristles kind of going. Okay, let's pick out, this is Pink Pearl. And you take your brush, you squeeze it a little bit, and then you just get your paint in here. This is a beautiful color. It's like a blush, but these are all metallic. And this little bit on the nib is going to go a long way. You can go right back into here. Get them softer. So that's the pink one. And then let's see, there's still a lot up here in this brush. So if you only had one brush, you would then just want to make sure you clean that off. Otherwise it will get muddy. And I'm squeezing to get the water out if I need some more water. Okay, and let's look at some other colors. And then let's say you have your piece under here. I'm just going to add a little bit more. Okay, let's go to the greens and the blues. Look at this gorgeous okay, so this is sapphire. Can you see it? I'm just going to squeeze a little bit. Now, the more expensive your brush, probably the nicer. I don't know if you guys can see that, but some of the hairs are kind of all over the place. So, you know, you pay for what you get. All right, so this is the sapphire color. And squeezing this brush. And I just think this is so pretty. I use this one a lot, I think. So watercolor papers, you know, they were originally designed for Kodak film back in the day when they were turning black and whites into color. They would have artists who would paint with these colors onto the photographs. That's how Peerless started. I'm just gonna add a little bit more. So the darker your color too, hold on, I'll show you something. So when you have a lot of paint, you're going to get your paint in here, but then this becomes like a wash. So I can then, you know, for a long time have, let's see, I might even have this wash in this brush until I change this water out. So you may, you know, have a little bit on a project, but then you can have these, store them upright. Don't store them sideways or upside down like I did on my flight. And that helps you kind of have these washes, you know, at hand. Let's see. I'm just going to move this way. All right. Let's see what I've got here. I wanted to show you some of the gold. This gold is pretty. So I've got this clean brush. I'm going to dip again. Whoops. See what I do? Nothing's ever neat, but usually something beautiful will happen because of that blob. So I'm going to put some in here, but I want to show you. They must really like the gold because there's two of them in here. They're the same thing. Let's see if it shimmers. So sometimes when you have metallic watercolors, they're not going to be so shimmery until they're dry. just squeezing this down a little bit. I know it's going to blob everywhere. Yep. So just, just make sure that that's on real tight right there. Watercolor should be fun. They should be messy. It's all good. So let's see what happens when that's dry. And then silver. Let's try silver. I'm going to get another brush just so I'm not going to mix in my... Yep, mine are all coming out the sides. So, you know, I'm not going to be that expert. Oh, I love, love, love the silver. Wait till I show you guys. The silver I actually like better than the gold. You may not be able to see it, but I'm going to turn it. The silver right away has got that metallic look to it. Okay, I'm going to pull this up. So this is that little set. And I'm not showing this to you guys so you go out and buy them. I just wanted to show you what I found. Okay. And then, you know, you can use your paper underneath to make some more marks. Isn't that so pretty? So then I could even go in with my, I'm holding this in my hand right now so you guys can see. But then you could go in with your watercolor pencil. I'm literally dipping my pencil into the paint because it's still a little wet. I'm making marks in here, but I'm also making marks over here by just getting this pencil a little bit wet. And this is also a really fun way to just keep things abstract, keep things really loose. You're not trying to make anything, but just make marks. And it's totally okay what it looks like at the end because it's really about just the experience and just setting aside a little bit of time to play with lines and marks, and that's it. I mean, you don't have to show anybody and you don't have to think anything of your piece. It's just the process of it. Sometimes I'll work on a piece of art and I had the most fun creating it. And then I look at it and I'm like, what the heck? It's so ugly. But then I turn it into something else. I'll crop into it. I'll use it as another layer, whatever. So I want you to be thinking about, you know, that sort of stuff. Just keep in mind how it looks. I mean, no, don't keep in mind how it looks. Keep in mind how it feels. How it feels. Okay, I'm going to flip this around. Oh, there's my ceiling. Hello, I'm here. Okay, there's my flowers. Okay, so anyway, that was just a little thing to maybe, as you guys are traveling, all you really need, oops, let's get straight. We don't want to be crooked. All you really need is your little tiny journal. If you're making one or if you buy one, like 2 or 3 watercolor pencils, maybe like one of these. Or the other thing I did when I was out and about is I had my water brush, I had my brush, and I had the cap of my water bottle. I drank my water and I used the cap for my little water. So, you know, you just have to sometimes be inventive and do things like that. And then always take with you this. If this is all you have, or a pencil, and this is all you have, that's all you need. That's it. You don't need anything else. So biggest hugs to you guys. All right, you guys have a good one. Have a good one. Bye-bye. See ya.